Welcome to the SailPoint Identity Security Solution Show, the one place to learn about SailPoint's products, solutions, and capabilities. Joining me today is Trevor Bruner, Senior Manager of Product Management here at SailPoint. Trevor, welcome to the show.
Thank you, James. Really appreciate it.
Awesome. I'm super excited to have you here, Trevor. We talk all the time, and now I get you on the show.
Fantastic.
So, let's kind of jump into it. Obviously, we're at Navigate, exciting time of the year for us. A lot of great product announcements, but what we're going to talk about today is some really good product announcements around Identity Security Cloud. And so the main thing we're going to talk about is data segmentation, which I know is near and dear to you and your team. So let's kind of jump into it.
Sure.
What was the inspiration behind developing, data segmentation, and kind of what problem or advantage were you seeing by implementing this?
Sure, thanks, appreciate that. Yeah, really excited to talk about data segmentation. So the challenge that now we're seeing is with this increase in data level security, people are needing data privacy regulations, as well as helping our customers allow more people to help administer Identity Security Cloud. We needed to overhaul our data segmentation capabilities to allow companies and customers to segment what information their administrators are able to see within Identity Security Cloud.
Right.
And so with that, we built the data segmentation engine, and we're really excited to roll that out here.
Awesome. So let's kind of get in a little bit of the details, because when we say data segmentation, people are like, what's data segmentation?
Right.
So what exactly is it?
Right.
And what does this look like for an Identity Security Cloud customer?
Right. So data segmentation is allowing you to segment which administrators are able to see which records. So oftentimes you think about user levels, which is about permissions of actions.
Right.
What can you do in the product? Data segmentation is not about what you can do, it's about what things you can see.
Okay.
So for example, where this really comes into play is for multinationals or companies that have lots of subsidiaries.
Yeah.
When you think about, I want this administrator to be able to see and administer these entitlements, as an example. Right. I want those administrators to see an administrator administer a separate set of entitlements, and I don't want them to see the entitlements they're not allowed to see.
Okay.
And so when you do that, it requires you a different level of dimension of controls on the data level versus the action level.
Versus the action. So then I'm going to kind of pivot a little bit on it, because there's another term we like to talk about called delegated administration.
Oh, I like this.
And that's kind of a loaded term a lot of times.
It is.
So how does data segmentation fit into that overall conversation around delegated administration?
Delegated administration, like you said, is a blanket term, and it's a dangerous term in the sense that a lot of people can imbue a lot of meaning behind it, and there's very often a mismatch in what someone says and what the other person hears.
Exactly.
And so data segmentation is a very critical piece of delegated administration. The way I think of it as the delegated administration is it's helping you delegate. I mean, it sounds silly. Delegate the administration of your of Identity Security Cloud.
Right.
There's a lot of things that fall into that category. So, for example, data segmentation is one of those capabilities. Work reassignment.
Yes.
So, an executive wants to delegate the tasks that he's assigned or she's assigned to somebody else.
Right.
So, the work reassignment, which we released last year, is part of delegated administration.
Exactly.
User levels.
Yep.
And specifically custom user levels, which is on our roadmap to build out this year, is another flavor of delegated administration, or another enabler. Right? Because what you're now able to do is more people or more administrators are able to go into Identity Security Cloud to administer, because you can control what they can do.
Exactly.
Right. And then even things like access request administration.
Yes.
Is another flavor. Is another thing that it helps enable delegated administration, because now you can delegate tasks to your help desk in-flight access requests.
Right.
They can see them, take action on them, reassign them, so you're able to delegate that work.
Okay.
So again, going back to data segmentation, when you have this, now you can segment your data to help you delegate more work, because you can control what different administrators in different areas are able to see.
Yeah, and I want to make sure we're super clear on it, because a lot of times we have to talk about it, is when we're talking that data segmentation, we're talking the data in Identity Security Cloud.
Absolutely.
And users of, or administrators of Identity Security Cloud.
Exactly. So right now, going back to more of this, we are be able to have data segmentation only for entitlements.
Yes.
So what we're able to do now is to segment, to create a ability to say these set of administrators.
Yes.
So you can either by name or by criteria
Yep.
set up a segment that says this group of administrators is able to see and administer this set of entitlements.
Exactly.
And you can set that entitlements either by name or better by criteria.
Right.
And then that way you're able to segment out which entitlements they're able to see and administer.
Awesome. And I wanted to make sure we were crystal clear on that, because that sometimes it gets confusing on it, and we're managing identities, but we're managing access to identities and everything else. So are there any specific requirements that teams need to consider when deploying data segmentation?
So you want to think about how you want to segment your data first, right? And when you think about this, if you ever are in the situation of, I want to make sure that these administrators are not able to see those entitlements, or in the future, those roles, or those identities, then you should be thinking about data segmentation.
Exactly.
One thing to be cognizant of is that when you first turn on data segmentation, which is your choice, it's by default off.
Yep.
So when you decide to turn it on in your environment, we are a secure first, right?
Yes.
By design.
By design.
What that means is once you turn this data segmentation on, unless an administrator is an active participant of a segment that you've created, they don't get to see the entitlements.
Exactly.
So if you turn this on immediately, and you've not thought about what your segments look like, who's in them, what entitlements are in them, your administrator will not be able to see any entitlements, right?
Yeah.
So you can be careful about that when you're first setting this up.
Okay, that makes sense. And to your point, we're that secure first kind of organization. We want to give you the ability, but we want to give you the ability for you to do it when you want to do it.
Exactly, exactly. And this is not just in the UI, right? This is at the API level as well, so that if people are making API requests, the data segmentation, the APIs respect the data segmentation.
Awesome, yeah. And so kind of last question is really about, you've talked about entitlements. What's next? We're kind of, obviously going full details because, we're always looking to try to move fast, but what are we looking at on the horizon? What's getting you excited about this going forward?
So up next is finishing out the access model. So roles and access profiles coming next. Next is identities.
Yes.
Right. So allowing you to segment which identities. So if you can imagine, you can only see a certain individual, certain identities to administer, whereas if you're in a different segment, you can see a different
subset. Yes.
But again, this is all on top of we've currently built out, which is the ability to segment the administrators and what they can see. And so the segments will just continue to build on which objects.
Some more flexibility.
The more flexibility that we're able to segment out.
Awesome.
And then going forward is the access requests.
Yes.
The request center, you can have segmentation in that. We're going to be rolling that into this new segmentation model later next year.
Yeah, awesome. Right. Well, Trevor, thank you so much for joining us today. I've been super excited to have you on the show and definitely talk about data segmentation. It's core to Identity Security Cloud, which makes it awesome. Thanks for joining us.
Appreciate it, James. Thanks a lot.
Absolutely. And I want to thank you for watching or listening. And if you want to learn more about data segmentation, our SailPoint Identity Security Cloud, or any of the other great things we announced here at Navigate, join us at www.sailpoint.com. Thank you.